Martell Holt, Melody Shari, and the rest of the Huntsville crew. Martell Holt and Melody Shari are once again headed to court on October 15th, and the buzz around this date is hotter than ever. Fans have been speculating for weeks about what this hearing could mean, with many believing it's tied to their ongoing custody battle. Melody has consistently fought to protect her children and provide stability, while Martell has been pushing for more time and control. Given their history, from Martell's cheating scandal with Ariane Curry to his unpredictable behavior on and off camera, supporters of Melody feel confident that she's walking into this court date prepared with receipts and a strategy to defend her position as the children's primary caregiver. On the flip side, Martell is determined to prove himself and flip the narrative. He's been vocal about wanting equal footing as a father, but his past actions continue to cast doubt. October 15th could become a defining moment for both of them, as the judge may set stricter guidelines, either limiting Martell's access or forcing both parties into clearer boundaries moving forward. One thing is certain, this isn't just legal business, it's deeply personal, and the outcome will impact not only their co-parenting dynamic, but also the storylines we'll see play out in the future. Now, let's start with Marquez and LaTricia, because this is where the fire first sparked. The court documents revealed that Marquez has filed a motion for contempt, claiming that LaTricia has flat out ignored an order that was handed down. And when you're in contempt of court, that's no small matter. It means you've been told by a judge to do something and you've just decided not to. Now, if you've watched enough drama unfold in Huntsville, you already know that people like to play by their own rules, but the court system doesn't play. The judge has issued a clear warning. If LaTricia does not comply, she could end up serving time. That's the kind of ultimatum that makes you sit up straight, because now we're not talking about just drama in the streets or on social media, we're talking about a jail cell. And when you add Kenneth Lee's name into the mix, the story gets even deeper because suddenly you have not one, not two, but three people wrapped up in legal battles that could spill over into love and marriage Huntsville level chaos. Now, let's talk about Kenneth Lee for a moment. His name is popping up right alongside Marquez and LaTricia, and while not everybody saw this coming, it's clear that his involvement has added fuel to the fire. People are already asking, what role does Kenneth really play here? Is he just caught in the middle, or is he stirring the pot behind the scenes? Whatever the case, his presence in these filings shows that this isn't just a he said, she said situation between Marquez and LaTricia. It's bigger, it's messier, and it's personal. When you've got multiple parties being named, you already know the tension in that courtroom is going to be off the charts. And let me tell you, Huntsville judges are tired of this type of back and forth. They've seen it with Martell Holt and Melody Shari. They've seen it with other couples who couldn't leave their issues at home. And now they're seeing it all over again with Marquez and LaTricia. What makes the situation even more explosive is the timing. See, while this contempt motion is moving forward, people are already buzzing about another court date, one that involves none other than Martell Holt and Melody Shari. And isn't it ironic that Huntsville's most talked about couple is once again tied up in legal speculation just as Marquez and LaTricia are about to face their own judgment day? It almost feels like the entire cast is orbiting the courthouse instead of the cameras. Now, with Martell and Melody, the speculation is thick. Some fans are whispering that this upcoming date could have everything to do with custody issues, with financial obligations, or even with Martell's ongoing behavior that just won't seem to slow down. We've seen Melody fight tooth and nail to protect her peace, her children, and her brand, while Martell keeps finding himself in situations that raise eyebrows. Could the court be stepping back in to set boundaries between them? A lot of people think so, and while nothing has been confirmed, you can feel the tension building. Let's bring it back to Marquez and LaTricia, because here's where the story gets really interesting. This isn't just about a disagreement or a miscommunication. This is about whether or not someone outright disobeyed a judge. And when that happens, the judge doesn't take it lightly. In fact, the judge made it clear that jail time is very much on the table. Think about that for a moment. Imagine being in that position knowing that your freedom could be taken away because you didn't follow through on what the court ordered. That's the kind of pressure that makes people fold, that makes secrets spill, and that turns private disagreements into public spectacles. And if we've learned anything from Love and Marriage Huntsville, it's that once the public gets a hold of a storyline like this, there's no turning back. And speaking of storylines, let's not forget how this kind of situation mirrors what we've seen before. Remember how Martell Holt refused to take accountability when it came to his marriage with Melody? Remember the endless back and forth, the accusations, the lies, and the eventual downfall that played out not only in front of the cameras, but also in real life? That same refusal to comply, to take responsibility, is exactly what turns a personal issue into a public scandal. And now Marquez and LaTricia are right there in the hot seat, with Kenneth Lee's involvement making the pot even harder to untangle. The big difference here is that this isn't just about a disagreement or a miscommunication. This is about whether or not someone outright disobeyed a judge. And when that happens, the judge doesn't take it lightly. In fact, the judge made it clear that jail time is very much on the table. Think about that for a moment. Imagine being in that position knowing that your freedom could be taken away because you didn't follow through on what the court ordered. That's the kind of pressure that makes people fold, that makes secrets spill, and that turns private disagreements into public spectacles. And if we've learned anything from Love and Marriage Huntsville, it's that once the public gets a hold of a storyline like this, there's no turning back. And speaking of storylines, let's not forget how this kind of situation mirrors what we've seen before. Remember how Martell Holt refused to take accountability when it came to his marriage with Melody? Remember the endless back and forth, the accusations, the lies, and the eventual downfall that played out not only in front of the cameras, but also in real life? That same refusal to comply, to take responsibility, is exactly what turns a personal issue into a public scandal. And now Marquez and LaTricia are right there in the hot seat, with Kenneth Lee's involvement making the pot even harder to untangle. The big difference here is that this isn't just about a divorce, or about cheating, or about who said what on Instagram. This is about contempt. This is about the law. And when the law gets involved, the stakes rise tenfold. Now, let me pause here and say this. You need to keep watching until the end, because when I tell you what's at stake on November 6th, your jaw is going to drop. This isn't just a case of someone maybe getting a fine or a slap on the wrist. This is someone possibly being taken straight from the courtroom to a jail cell if they don't get it together. That's how serious this is. And the ripple effects, they're going to be huge. Fans are already speculating about how this will impact relationships, friendships, and alliances on the show. Will people rally around Marquez? Will LaTricia try to turn the narrative in her favor? And where does Kenneth Lee even stand in all of this? These are the questions that will shape not only the outcome of the case, but also the next season of drama that plays out on our screens. And while that storm is brewing, Martell and Melody are quietly or not so quietly preparing for their own legal showdown. Now, here's where it gets spicy. Some folks believe Martell is pushing for more custody time, while others say Melody is holding firm because she doesn't trust him to provide the stability her children need. Add to that Martell's history of unpredictable behavior, the side chick scandal with Ariane Curry that still haunts him, and the way he continues to stir the pot with cast members like Marcel Scott and Kimmy Scott. And you've got a recipe for yet another courtroom explosion. The speculation is that if Martell pushes too hard, the judge might not only deny him, but could also impose stricter conditions moving forward. Imagine that, Martell, who has always prided himself on control, being told exactly when and how he can see his kids. That would hit him where it hurts most. Meanwhile, Melody has been showing us what moving on looks like. She's thriving, she's growing, and she's not letting Martell's drama slow her down. But don't think for 1 second that she's not preparing for this court date. Melody has always been strategic, and when it comes to her children, she's a fighter. Fans are already predicting that she'll walk into that courtroom with receipts, with proof, and with the kind of composure that Martell struggles to maintain. And that's exactly why people are connecting her case with what's happening between Marquez and LaTricia. It's all about who can follow the rules, who can present themselves as responsible, and who can convince a judge that they deserve to be trusted. So here's what we know right now. Marquez has filed for contempt. LaTricia has been warned by the judge. Kenneth Lee is tied into this drama, and the court date is set. At the same time, whispers are swirling that Martell and Melody will soon be back in front of a judge themselves. And when that happens, you better believe the entire Huntsville community is going to be watching. And if you think this is just coincidence, think again. Huntsville has a way of making sure the drama doesn't just stay on the screen. It spills into real life, into real courtrooms, and into real consequences. Now, I want you to really picture this. November 6th arrives, the courtroom is packed, the judge is seated, and the tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. Marquez is there ready to present his case. LaTricia is there, possibly facing jail time if she doesn't comply. Kenneth Lee is sitting right in the middle, his name on the documents, his role under question. What's crazy is how all these threads are connected. The legal drama, the cast relationships, the producer strategies, the fan theories. It's like a giant web, and every time one person pulls a string, everyone else feels the vibration. That's what makes Love and Marriage Huntsville such an unpredictable show. It's not just about love or marriage anymore. It's about power, image, and survival in the spotlight. And as November inches closer, one thing's for sure. This isn't just reality TV anymore. This is real life with real consequences. Marquez, LaTricia, Kenneth, Martell, Melody, they're all walking into courtrooms, but what they're really walking into is a mirror, a reflection of every choice they've made, every lie they've told, and every truth they've tried to hide. And when that gavel drops, it won't just be the law deciding. It'll be karma, too.